Hey guys, NESComplex here, and on this episode of Is It Fun, we're going to be talking about the Disney Capcom classic, Darkwing Duck. So, let's get dangerous.
There are thousands of classic games, and just as many ways of rating them. But if you love retro games as much as I do, and just want to know if a game is worth playing, then only one question need be answered. Darkwing Duck was released in 1992 by Capcom, and it's no surprise that after the hugely successful collaborations between Disney and Capcom on titles such as DuckTales, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and The Little Mermaid, that the terror that flaps in the night would get his turn as well. The premise of this side-scrolling action-adventure is pretty standard fare for the NES. You play, of course, as Darkwing Duck, and throughout the game you'll have to face off against 6 evil henchmen of the criminal organization Fowl. But at the end, you'll ultimately face the sinister Steelbeak in his fiendish floating fortress. The game design is pretty straightforward. When you first start, you choose from 3 different levels, and after completing those 3 levels, you get to choose from 3 more. And after completing those, you go to the final level, the confrontation with Steelbeak. Now, if all this sounds so far like typical Capcom, you'll be pleased to know that they added a few gameplay devices that really mix it up. For one thing, in this game, you can duck. And you can shoot while ducking. You can use your cape to block enemy projectiles. You can fall through certain platforms, but I think the most important device in this game is the ability to hang from the underside of platforms or from street lights or various things throughout the game. Of course, there are power-ups that will help DW along the way. They fall basically into one of 2 categories, those relating to Darkwing's life and those relating to his special gas weapons. Now, in the top left-hand corner of the screen, there'll be a heart, and that represents Darkwing's life. There are 4 sections to this heart, and so if you get hit, you lose a section. You can find a heart bottle that will add 1 section to his life, or you can find a first aid kit that will replenish his heart completely. There are also 3 special gas weapons that you can find throughout the levels. The lightning gas is basically a 2-way shot. The heavy gas will hit the ground and spread both ways, killing ground-based enemies. And the arrow gas, which is very powerful, not only can really hurt the enemies, but also makes platforms that Darkwing can use for climbing. All 3 of these require special gas in order to use them. You can find small gas containers that will give you 1 gas, and large gas containers that give you 10 gas. But as you use them, your gas will deplete, eventually down to 0. You can toggle this weapon on and off by pushing the select button, and I say this weapon because unfortunately, Darkwing can only have 1 of them at a time. When you get a new one, the old one goes away. The presentation in both graphics and sound is about as true to the cartoon as the NES could make it. It sounds great and looks beautiful with very detailed cartoony graphics and all the trappings of Darkwing Duck. And all of this, of course, leads to the big question, is it fun? But before I answer that question, let me ask another question. What would you think of a Mega Man game if 40% of the levels were removed and the boss weapons couldn't be acquired? Would you like it? It might be enjoyable, but it would feel incomplete. Well, that game exists, and it's called Darkwing Duck. You see, Capcom programmed Darkwing Duck using a modified Mega Man 5 engine. This is clear not only from the feel of the game, but can be seen by the selectable stages and the level designs, which also include the familiar halfway points of Mega Man games. So let me ask again, is it fun? Yes. Taken for what it is, as a Darkwing Duck conversion from a cartoon, it's a great game. But I couldn't help but think as I played it that I'd rather be playing Mega Man. Sorry, DW.